want to set the stage to really get going because some of the folks on this might not be familiar with some of the terminology that's being tossed around. When we say CVC, et cetera, and it's a model that's changed over the years. There's been multiple cycles of corporate venture capital. So can you start with just how each of you define what falls under the scope of corporate venture capital, and why do you think it's been increasing in popularity in recent years?
Go for it, Paul, and I'll jump in.
So we have kind of three areas in which we've been called in to work with folks. One is I would say the traditional sort of CVC advisory. What Scott and his team have done a brilliant job is inventing kind of the model of outsourcing. So, they'll come in, you'll give them money, they're going to invest the money, you're going to hear all these great reports and knowledge and insight that you're going to learn. We took a different approach in the sense that our original client was Bonnie Simi at JetBlue. She asked Linda, our founder and CEO at Mach 49, and I to help her get started on what became JetBlue Technology Ventures. And then since then, we've now been effectively co-founders of TDK Ventures, Pernova Cards, Conviviality Ventures, Hypertherm Ventures, now working with Xerox Ventures, with Rio Tinto, with Vale, with Tampa Bay General, with Gunderson Health, and a whole bunch of other folks that we're working with. And we sort of see three buckets out there. One is basically taking the concepts of top-tier venture capital and injecting them into the corporation. So what I know Scott and the team did a really good job was getting people to understand, hey, at Comcast, here's how we did it, and here's how other people have done it, and benchmarking that. We just didn't see a lot of room for us to improve upon that model. And instead, what we're doing is I've assembled what we call our core or squad of GPs and residents. So I've got 10 of these, and we deploy them across corporate America. This group of 10 general partners who average 20 years of experience at top tier firms have generated over $1.5 trillion of market cap. So that's the knowledge and insight that we're trying to inject into these companies. It's the, let's skip the phase of, hey, let's go follow, so-and-so who's done something in CVC. Let's just go right to the practices of top tier venture that have produced the alpha returns, which we believe corporations are capable of doing, but we've got to, we want to be their river guides to kind of take them there.
Yep, same. And I think, to your question about the definition of it, we like to distinguish between corporate venture and corporate venturing more broadly, which sound like they could be exactly the same thing, but often aren't. So I would look at corporate venturing as the umbrella bucket that, might be synonymous with external innovation. Although sometimes it could include internal innovation. You've got some patents or someone's invented something. What do we do with it as the corporation? And I think that what corporations are waking up to is the idea that if you operate in a cave and ignore what's happening in the outside world, you're probably going to get blindsided in some way. And so, the idea is not everything can be invented in-house. In our opinion, corporate venture capital is the best way to stay informed and understand what's happening in the world of external innovators, meaning startups and venture capital. So corporate venture capital is having a program with capital to fund startups and receive equity back. Venturing is, sort of more broadly interacting with startups, which also could be buying them when they're small. It could be doing commercial deals with them. We touch all of those things, but with the core of running investment programs. And Dave, you had asked the question, sort of who are some of the recognizable companies that we work with? I mentioned it's 18 today and growing. Some of the bigger names are Kellogg's. We work with T-Mobile, Avery Dennison, the materials science company, Scotts Miracle-Gro, the lawn and turf company. And there's a whole bunch of large private companies that if you're not in those industries, you probably haven't heard of.